Integrative Life Community Building, Class 4, Leading a Prosperous Inner and Outer Existence. Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, Director of the School of Integrative Psychology and facilitator of the Integrative Life Community Building course. The focus of this fourth class in our series is how to manifest prosperity on all levels of your life by practicing the principles of abundance in spending. The second law of wealth is the spending law. The spending law states, exchanging money, buying and selling, is the secret of wealth. Successful negotiation is when both people win. Now, I alluded to this earlier in talking about sales, serving the highest of both parties. An affirmation here under the spending law is, every dollar I spend comes back to me multiplied. So if you're sitting on your pile of gold and you're not doing anything with it, you're gumming up the works in terms of your prosperity. It's been said that the richest people are those that spend it the fastest. The fear that if I spend, nothing is going to come back to me, or I'll be left with nothing, stagnates my prosperity. Spend your money with the intention that, as I put it out, so do I open the door for it to return. Now, some people are very good with the thought that they have all they need just to make it and no more. So, I know that I'm not going to starve. I know that I will survive. But the thought of surplus or abundance is foreign. Somehow it's greedy, or it's beyond me, or it's not okay. There's some ceiling that I put on myself around this, and that ceiling is my mind. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's just easy or a snap of the fingers to remove it. It may take some work to do that, but it's eminently worthwhile doing that work. Any energy you put into doing that work, the benefit from it will be multiplied. Rather than just working harder or continually keeping that cycle going of just having enough, the more willing I am to prosper other people, the more willing they are to prosper me. If I'm unwilling to spend my money and prosper others, I'm creating that ethic in the world, which comes back to me. I must learn how to spend without fear. Worrying over getting my money's worth is often a waste of energy, especially worrying over, did I get my money's worth out of something that I spent on last year? Now, that's not to say we can't take a judicious look at our spending. But to obsess about it and to continue to fret over it is chasing my tail around the bush. I've got to learn to profit from everything that I spend money on. If I pay bills, am I grumbling continuously over the cost of electricity or gas? Again, I'm generating a lot of negative energy around it. I'm not saying we shouldn't be conscientious about keeping up with our environmental concerns. But I can get into obsessing about that and take myself out of a state of gratitude, which again puts the big stiff arm to prosperity for myself. There's a lot of people out there working for us. There's a lot of people who are out there doing their best to serve our needs. We have a standard of living that's fairly incredible in terms of the history of our planet. To experience gratitude for that is to keep the pump primed for our prosperity. I recommend trying on an attitude of gratitude when you write your bills. Even put a thank you note to the companies that serve you. Be thankful even if the service was slow at a restaurant. Ways to have gratitude are all profitable investments. Profit from everything you spend money on. Occasionally, pay more if you really like something and it's really valuable. Give a little extra money for it. Just see what happens. You can get some surprised reactions. Another game that has worked very well for me, I recommend, is to carry a large bill with you so that when you go to the restaurant or store, you're not worried about, did I bring enough money? It's a way of just having your mind accustomed to abundance. It's occasionally good to spend it. Keep it in circulation. Then get another one to replace it. I had a friend, one of the teachers of some of this work, who played the game with himself. He carried a $1,000 bill around when they were available, and he said it imminently increased the consciousness of where he left his pants. It was a fun game to play. You start playing these games, and that's why I call them games. You take some of the heaviness and seriousness out of it. The next game under the spending law is the budgeting game. You keep track of all the money that you spend for 3 months to do this. That's a consciousness-raising exercise in and of itself. But then you divide the money you spend into 4 or 5 categories. You'll then determine the percentage of the money you're spending in each category on the average over the 3 months. You can then look at your spending patterns. Now, if you want to go further with this, what you do is to start to play with those patterns and free up your mind. Some people, for example, have taken the food as one of their categories, and they say, okay, I've discovered on the average that I'm spending X $100 a month on food. Then they put a challenge to their mind. How could I reduce that category by 50% of what I spend without compromising the quality of my eating? Interesting game. Your mind might say, how could I do that? Well, here are some of the ideas that folks have come up with in the past. Remember, successful business is about getting interchange going, your mutually profitable contact with other people. So what one person did is they said, well, I love to cook. I really like to make gourmet food. So what I'll do is find 4 or 5 of my friends who like gourmet cooking, and I'll offer it to them on a once-a-week basis to cook a gourmet meal. I'll ask them, what would you pay at a restaurant for such a meal? They say, X dollars. Well, I'll give you the meal for 40% less served to you at home, so that you're going to get the kind of food you really like to eat for less money. I'm going to get a free meal in doing this, and probably even a little left over to supplement my food bill. We all win. I enjoy the cooking. I enjoy the serving. It creates an interaction that we all benefit from. I'm eating like a king and reducing my food bill and enjoying serving my friends. We all win. It's about getting creative. Another person who didn't like to cook said, I like to entertain. So he connected with some of the people he knew and said, I'm willing to come and sing and play for you during your meal. Tell jokes, do dishes, in exchange for being fed. What a great deal. They loved it. So there are all sorts of ways. As you get creative and value what you have to offer, you could reduce one of these categories of your spending and increase your sense of value in life. Not that for the rest of your life you're going to play the guitar for your food, but what we're doing is we're freeing up our mind around these categories. We're getting unstuck from this is the way it has to be. We're seeing that it is through our creativity and through our giving of ourself that we increase our prosperity. Well, and who knows? You may get so good at playing your guitar, it could become a lucrative career supplement. Another prosperity game is tithing. Tithe means a tenth. It's been used in many communities around the world where people voluntarily give a tenth of their income away to either a charitable organization or an organization or person that they value, or just at random. A tithing is letting go to the universe a tenth of your income with the intention that as you release this, so it comes back to you. It completely goes cross-current to conventional wisdom. And you can discover that there are other laws operating around the income and money in your life rather than the laws of scarcity economics. So as I give away and open up, I find freeing myself, and it's opening the channels to return. It's called seed money, given unconditionally and indiscriminately with a conscious willingness to receive a tenfold return from the universe. Take handout 3, Spending, Savings, and Investing Laws, and in section 1, the spending law. An area of spending with which I have a challenge is, and B, a game I'm willing to play to help me deal with that challenge is. Complete this section 1 and come back to the video. The secret to increasing our prosperity of soul nurturance and spiritual upliftment is, of course, to give it away. In so doing, the universe cannot but return it to us tenfold. This is the cosmic law of wealth, which brings heaven to earth for all who practice it. If we agree to support one another in installing this law in our consciousness till next class, we have created the ultimate win-win-win. You win, I win, and everyone in our world wins. I'm in. Are you? Holding you in my heart, as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings till next class. Blessings in light and love.